Kursk region, Ukrainian tank crews once again proved their mastery on the battlefield. A T-72 tank entered into a direct clash with Russian forces, facing off against a BMP, 3 infantry fighting vehicle loaded with a full crew. The Ukrainians closed the distance and fired point-blank. The first round struck the vehicle with devastating force, leaving it crippled and sending shock waves through the crew inside. Stunned and disoriented, some Russian soldiers scrambled out of the smoking machine, attempting to flee the battlefield. But the fight was not over. A second shell was fired. The impact turned the BMP-3 into a burning wreck, consuming both the vehicle and the crew that remained inside. In a matter of moments, a powerful piece of Russian armor was reduced to twisted metal, while Ukrainian forces stood victorious. This encounter in Kursk showed once again that precision, speed, and firepower in the hands of Ukrainian tankers leave no chance for the enemy. In Soledar, Ukrainian Air Force pilots carried out a devastating strike on enemy positions. Their target was a fortified shelter packed with Russian personnel, believed to be coordinating operations in the area. Taking to the skies in a MiG-29 fighter jet, Ukrainian pilots were armed with GBU-39 precision-guided bombs. Once the exact coordinates were confirmed, the aircraft released its payload in a concentrated salvo. Within seconds, the building was hit with pinpoint accuracy. A massive detonation followed, and the entire structure was literally razed to the ground in an instant. The strike left nothing standing. Enemy troops inside were eliminated, the shelter reduced to rubble. This operation once again highlights the skill of Ukrainian pilots and the power of modern Western munitions integrated onto Soviet-era aircraft. Even in the most fortified areas, no position is safe when precision and technology work hand in hand. In Soledar, one shelter, one command point, and dozens of enemy troops were erased in just one strike. Proof that Ukraine's Air Force remains a decisive force on the battlefield. In the Kursk region, Ukrainian aviation once again demonstrated the power of modern Western weapons. A pair of F-16 fighter jets launched a coordinated strike, releasing a salvo of 4 GBU-39 guided bombs. Each missile was programmed with precise coordinates of Russian positions. Within moments, the target was hit. A command post and fortified shelter used by Russian troops were obliterated in a series of powerful explosions. The strike inflicted heavy losses on the enemy, crippling their ability to coordinate operations in the area. With every mission, Ukrainian F-16s prove how advanced technology and skilled pilots can change the balance of the battlefield, delivering pinpoint destruction where it hurts the most. In the Donetsk direction, the Ukrainian Black Forest Battle Group struck another devastating blow to Russian air defenses. This time, the target was a Buk-3 air defense system, one of Russia's modern and most expensive platforms, valued at nearly $45 million. The operation was carried out with a Switchblade 600 kamikaze drone. Guided with precision, it locked onto the system and dove into the target. The impact triggered a massive detonation, engulfing the launcher in flames and leaving nothing but wreckage. Another multi-million-dollar asset erased from the battlefield. Proof that no matter how advanced, Russian air defenses cannot withstand Ukraine's precision strikes. In the Donetsk direction, near Volnovakha, the Ukrainian Black Forest Combat Group delivered a decisive strike on one of Russia's most valuable assets. Their target was a Tor-2 air defense system, designed to protect Russian troops from aerial threats. But this time, it had no chance to fight back. Using precise coordinates, Ukrainian forces launched HIMARS high-precision missiles directly at the position. The rocket struck with devastating accuracy, triggering a massive explosion. In moments, the Tor-2 was reduced to burning wreckage, completely destroyed and erased from the battlefield. The strike not only eliminated an expensive piece of equipment, but also left Russian forces in the sector exposed and vulnerable to Ukraine's dominance in the skies. In the Donetsk direction, Ukraine's raid combat group struck a blow that cost Russia dearly. Their target was no ordinary machine, but a Buk M1 anti-aircraft missile system, a critical piece of enemy air defense, valued at nearly $10 million. With precision and patience, operators guided a strike drone onto the system. In seconds, the weapon that once threatened Ukraine's skies was engulfed in flames. What had been a cornerstone of Russian air defense was reduced to a twisted pile of metal. The loss was not just financial, but strategic. One less shield for the enemy, and one more proof of Ukraine's growing dominance in precision warfare. The raid group once again showed, no matter the cost or size, every Russian weapon can be destroyed. In the combat zone, fighters of the Ukrainian National Guard Corps, AZOV, delivered a devastating strike. Enemy reconnaissance revealed a Russian Grad multiple-launch rocket system, hidden and preparing to fire. An FPV drone was launched, racing toward the target with pinpoint accuracy. The impact triggered a massive explosion, an eruption of fire and smoke that tore the launcher apart. Within moments, the Grad was reduced to wreckage, its threat eliminated. In Pokrovsk, Ukrainian forces deployed one of their most powerful weapons, the Leopard 2 main battle tank. Russian troops had entrenched themselves inside a 9-story building, using its walls as cover. To clear them out, the tank crew took aim. With a thunderous shot, the Leopard's cannon struck the building, tearing through the structure and shaking the ground. Each hit shattered fortifications, forcing the enemy from their positions. This footage highlights the strength of modern Western armor and the coordination of Ukrainian crews who use it with deadly precision. Russian troops launched yet another assault on Ukrainian positions. Their tanks and infantry fighting vehicles rolled forward, covered in improvised armor, fitted with protective cages, and equipped with electronic warfare systems. They believed this would shield them from Ukraine's FPV drones. But against the fighters of Ukraine's 414th Separate Brigade of unmanned systems, such defenses meant nothing. From above, operators tracked every movement. FPV drones dove with precision, striking at weak points again and again. Within moments, the Russian advance ground to a halt. One vehicle after another was disabled. Crews panicked, abandoning their machines and fleeing across the battlefield. Their drone-proof armor had failed them completely. For Ukraine, disabling the equipment was only the beginning. The abandoned tanks and fighting vehicles were quickly finished off, burned to the ground with follow-up strikes. Nothing was left for the enemy to repair, reuse, or recover. This battle was more than just a defense. It was a demonstration of how modern warfare is shifting, where expensive armored columns are stopped cold by small, inexpensive drones in skilled hands. The 414th Brigade turned Russia's assault into a rout.